Good morning and welcome back to Vlogmas. Today is a really special day because today I am starting a rather big DIY project in the house. I'll actually consider it more of like a small medium project for me because a big DIY project is probably like installing large garden beds over several months, and this project will probably take me a weekend. So it's like a small medium project for me, I would say. And what is this project, you might be wondering? Well, I have finally bought bookshelves. Not just one, not just two, but quite a few. And these bookshelves arrive today. To be honest, there's almost 400 pounds of shelving arriving. And you're probably like, well, where are you putting 400 pounds of shelving? Well, the answer is here, actually, in my office, closet, dressing room, my space, in the physical format. And yes, I am finally installing bookshelves. Over the past year, I have really gotten back into reading. I've acquired quite a few more physical books. I've read probably almost half of books digitally, both on Apple Books, Kindle Unlimited, Kindle, other e-commerce websites as well. And I realized, you know, this is not something that I'm gonna allow to go away or get away from me soon. Like, I have a huge list of books that I would like to read still and purchase, and special editions, etc., etc. So they gotta go somewhere. And right now, the somewhere that they are is just not working out for me anymore. Let me show you. So here we go. I have nowhere else to put these books and other pieces of furniture, equipment, etc., etc. And they're just piling up here under my big mirror, as well as over here, stacked between all of like my clothing shelving, I should say, and the window. It works out pretty well. But now I'm starting to stack them double wide, as you can see, and that's not cool. So it's definitely time for a change. And so yeah, today I have tons of bookshelves arriving, and it's going to be like fully installed on the boring side, or what now as I would consider the boring side of my office. I'm just gonna spin around here in my little chair. So you understand, you get a bigger idea. I've got the entry to my office here, and then of course my dressing room mirror, and then I have my treadmill and this like giant open space here, and then my desk is here looking out the front window there. And I really feel that having this corner of unused space is perfect for a corner unit, which I've got a corner unit. And then I thought, well, if I'm paying for shipping to have these things coming here, what about this whole other part of this wall? And I thought, you know what, let's just do it. So I ordered custom set in shelving units, and it's going to be arrived today. Don't bother with this Modelo can. It's a real Modelo can, but it's actually a speaker. I won it at a lottery at night, so it's not like I'm having beverages first thing in the morning. Although, if you're in the right time zone, cheers. So yeah, I think having shelving here is gonna be really great. I'm starting to do a lot more book reviews because I have a lot of you reaching out to me via DMs or in real life if I see you, and y'all are asking me the same questions on, hey, what'd you think about this book? Is it worth it? It's on my TBR. I want to read it too. And so I'm starting to do a lot more book related content, which I love. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. It is completely not relevant to my 9-to-5 day job in any capacity, which is really great. And it's wonderful escapism. We're also entering the colder months of the year here in Chicagoland, and no, I'm not going to be outside as much. Of course, I'll take the pups out, etc., when they need to be out, but this is my cozy season. I want to be cuddled up inside. Give me a good book, tea, glass of wine, bourbon, whatever, tasty beverage, and just be reading. And it is my goal to read as much as I can this autumn winter season. As I collect more and more books in the future, because I know I will, I love supporting indie authors, and I know they do get a very small fraction from Kindle Unlimited, which is nice, but if you're going to reread the book, obviously, you want to buy a physical copy. So all my books are not housed in here. I have closet space. I also have books like under my bed, and it's getting to be a lot. One of Max's pet peeves are things on the floor. So there's a lot of stuff on the floor in here, and sometimes he'll just like shut the door to my office, which is completely understandable if it bothers you that much. Like, I'm not judging him for it, but I do think he brings up a really great point that things are collecting and they shouldn't. Like, buy shelves, like put them up. So I have shelves arriving today. Once these shelves arrive, I'm going to bring them inside. This is probably going to be a multi-day process because there's quite a few of them, and they're going to be almost full up to the ceiling. So Florida, I think they're like 4 inches from the ceiling, which is really cool because I have further plans for these shelves to get lighting. Finally, I'm gonna get lighting in this space, and I know that once I install the shelving, I can then determine the length of light strips that I need, not just for my bookcases, but probably for also like my vintage clothing section that I have here. And as far as the space layout, as I mentioned, the bookshelves themselves are going to be that corner space right here. My treadmill is not going anywhere. I use it almost every single day. I'm getting all my miles in. Currently, I'm still on the first challenge for the Witcher challenge from the Conqueror. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Conqueror challenge. This is an online marathon, virtual marathon, I should say, and I am 67%, I believe, through the first one. Anywho's, I love walking, power walking, and this isn't going anywhere. So yes, it'll be actually, the bookshelves will be going behind it, and this will be going in front of it because that's what I want. It's my space, and I'll make it work aesthetically. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. Sometimes I get like super motivated and I can relate a little too hard to the female main character of the story that I'm reading, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm too going through training, and then I like go a little faster. I do interval training if they're like going uphill or something in the story, and I kind of like remember these scenes, and I get pumped up and motivated, and then I realize that I'm finishing my workout in a far better, quicker, what do you want to call it? Like, I'm just doing a lot better with my workout than I would otherwise. So I do want to keep my treadmill in here. My desk setup will be essentially the same as well. I may get a new desk. I gotta be honest. So there's nothing wrong with this desk other than it's really rickety. Like, it's older. It was my husband's grandmother's desk, I believe. And like, this drawer is like broke. And it's hard to open it, and then it's just kind of like you can't fully shut it. It does need a new crossbar on the bottom. I think that's what you call it, at least. But I mean, it's older. I mean, you can only be so upset about it. And I have my really nice printer on the floor, and then I have a trunk that I'm using to house all kinds of paper and craft supplies and everything else. So yeah, these sconces are probably gonna go. I may or may not have space for them once I get the shelving in. So the shelving is actually gonna come to about right here. It should not interfere with the door as long as my measuring was correct, which it was, and as long as I can trust the online measuring that they provided. The numbers should match. So yeah, essentially I'm gonna have vertical bookcase here. This mirror is going to be moved to the right and up a little bit because the shelving actually comes up to about, I think right here. So there's no way the mirror can stay in this one space. And then of course I have all of the corner area. That'll be the main section of bookshelving. I think it's gonna work out really, really well in here, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I also really want to get a nice and comfy chair, because right now I am using a dining room chair, and there's nothing wrong with this, but it's small and I like to put my feet up when I work at my desk, and I kind of just want like something big and cozy. One of those big like velvet library chairs would be amazing. I've been looking out estatesales.net looking for one kind of secondhand to see if I can pick one up, and I just don't see one. It's not the end of the world. Of course, the one that I really, really want is this gorgeous mulberry color, and it has these brass rivets in it, and it is way out of my budget. I don't even feel comfortable spending like maybe half of the price, but yeah, not double. There's no way. I just wanted to come in and give you guys kind of like the preview tour before I start moving things around. The shelves have not arrived just yet. They're supposed to arrive this afternoon, so I do have some work to do in the morning, and we'll see what happens as far as getting them in the house and then reading the instructions. Probably going to start with the corner piece first, and get all the special brackets and whatnot installed first in that section, and just kind of like move up from there. That's my game plan, at least, which doesn't always happen, right? We know this. So I will check back in as we wait for all of the rest of the shelving to arrive. By the way, I don't think I've ever shared this before, but I painted my office space black. I think it's called Onyx Black by Benjamin Moore. Ugh. Carbon Black. Maybe it's Carbon. I think Carbon's the right name. I've got the color somewhere. But yeah, full on black, baby. Woo! It's amazing. I love it. It is so cozy and comforting, and I feel that it makes like glassware pop. It's definitely on brand for my colors. It brings out all of the beautiful texture and detail of this. Let me see if I can do this. Nope. All of the beautiful details of this hand painted ornate geisha mirror. This is all mother of pearl, which is really cool, but it's all hand painted on here, and it's such a gorgeous piece. I've had it for years. It's all like banged up partially, so it's not going anywhere. But then I love like the background of the brass and just kind of like how everything stands out really, really well. Yeah, so I have been living in this, or working in this space being black for almost an entire year. I did it for New Year's last year because I was like, I need a big change. And it is a big change. And Max kind of he was fine with it. I'm like, yo, if I don't like it, you know, patch and paint and it's done. Like, it's not a big deal. I love it. In fact, I'm considering or debating color drenching, so the ceiling would also be black, same color black and same finish. I don't think I would go for a high gloss. This, I believe, is eggshell, and I'm really pleased with it. So that, or I might do some sort of like ceiling mural. Oh yeah, I got one of those lights. Yeah, so I'm thinking about possibly installing a ceiling mural up here, or just color drenching for now and then doing a ceiling mural, or a combo of both, maybe. I have some really good ideas that are not on Pinterest, in case you follow me there. Like, you wouldn't know if I did it. You'd have to follow me here. And oh yes, I forgot to mention the bookshelves that I have arriving today are in the same black walnut as my dressing clothing area, wardrobe, I guess you can call it. Same, so they coordinate, they match. And also, again, I feel that with all of the gorgeous titles and like the sprayed edges of some of these books are just incredible, and I think that they're gonna show up really well against the black wood background. So that is my idea. That is what is happening soon over the course of the next couple days. So yeah, stay tuned, and I'll get back to you as soon as we have an update on this big project. All 11 boxes are here and are currently occupying our dining room for now. So I feel really bad because Max really did a beautiful job cleaning up the house. He just did it last night, night before last, and I feel like I've totally destroyed it. So I bought him a cigar as a peace offering. I think it'll be fine, right? I mean, it'll be like a few days long for this thing, and that's it. So that's all done, taken care of, and now I'm just going to make some dinner. This is our current situation, and I will be back tomorrow with a new update. It is done. I have fully assembled all of the bookcases, and they look so good. Let me show you. This is it. They are fully installed. I have counted to the number 9 more times than I care to because of all the spacing. And I utilized as much space as I could because I did want some sort of like clearance here, the correct amount of clearance. So they are all spaced 9 or 8 holes, and then on the 9th one is where I inserted the little pegs so that the shelves would be placed on top. So yeah, it is done. I cannot tell you how pleased I am with this. This is really cool. This is probably one of the biggest builds, if not the biggest build that I have done so far in the house. So right behind me is where my gigantic mirror is gonna go. I do have to go back to the hardware store to exchange pieces I don't need, and I need to pick up spackle because my spackle sadly dried out. So that means that I don't use enough of it on a yearly basis, which is probably a good thing, but maybe not a good thing because that means that I'm not doing enough projects. I'm okay with that for now. Up next, I'll need to spackle, paint, affix the mirror to this top over here. The mirror should not take very long. I've already marked out exactly where I need to place anchors and get those all drilled in. And I'm still really liking the hardware showing. I don't know, I feel like it's really industrial. It's cool. And I feel like I need some sort of like lights that kind of go up vertically here, and maybe it'll kind of like show like, so I don't know, I think that they look really cool. This project is coming along so wonderfully, and I cannot wait until I start putting up books. It is done, and we are finally ready for the whole purpose of this, which is to fill the shelves with all of my books and collections. I'm probably just going to try and do all of the books in this section first. I haven't determined where exactly I'm going to keep everything, so if you have been recently following me, I read primarily fantasy romance or romantasy. I do read high fantasy as well, but before that, I was really into nonfiction. I'm a huge Richard Dawkins fan. I do read poetry as well, contemporary poetry. I really like Rupi Kaur. Patti Smith has some good ones, and I have other poets books that I have collected over the years, as well as a few classic literature pieces. And what else? Oh, modern art, primarily from, well, post-impressionism, I'll say, like 1910, 1915, all the way through like 1940. I'm also really into contemporary art that began back arguably in the 60s, primarily with Bauhaus. I'm a huge art fan, so I do have a lot of art history books, as well as books that focus on different art movements. I went to fine art school, and that's where I get it from. My mom's an artist, my grandmother was an artist. Art does run in my veins, so that's why I have this rather large art collection, book of art books. And so I gotta figure out where I'm going to place these by section. I'm not gonna do the color code thing, which is cool. I love that. It's beautiful, it's aesthetically pleasing, but if I need to access a book for reference, I need to know exactly where it is, and therefore I'm gonna create like my own way of organizing my library. Not gonna go by the Library of Congress or the Dewey Decimal System. Honestly, I don't think I have that many books. I have no idea how many books I have. This year, I know I've read quite a few, and a lot of them have been digital, of which I have not obtained a physical copy at this time. However, I have obtained quite a few of physical books. So that's actually why I bought all this, is because I realized I truly am a prolific reader, and I need something better than the stacks on the floor to house all my books. In fact, I have a hallway closet just out the door here. I have books in there. I have books on the shelves. I have books on the floor, and I have to organize things. Like, I'm going nuts. So we're gonna do it. Let's go. Taking a much needed water break, but I just wanted to show you, to kind of give you a glimpse of what kind of like volume of books that I'm dealing with right now. This behind me, that was just below my mirror, stacked on the floor. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, it's a good amount. I don't know. And of course, they're just kind of stacked on top of each other. And if you look close enough, you're probably like, yes, why do you have like multiple copies of the same book? Well, they're the same book, but some are special editions, and that I was lucky enough to acquire, as well as signed copies. I've been to a couple book events. I was lucky enough to purchase directly from the authors, as well as have the authors sign the books after I had acquired them elsewhere in the open marketplace. So that is why I have multiple copies of the same book. Max doesn't get it, but if you are into books and reading the romantasy thing and understand the special editions, then you get me. I know this. So we're gonna do another part of my office. I have been hoarding books, and these are mostly going to be nonfiction. And oh, I forgot to say that I also have a small collection of Hawaiian books, or Hawaiiana. I am Native Hawaiian. I was born in Maui, and my family is Native Hawaiian by blood, and so I have a small bit of my collection down here, but this other section of where I'm grabbing stacked books from has quite a bit more. So I'm excited to see what titles I still have. Maybe there's a few that I need to replace, and that way I can have everything together, organized, and see what I'm missing in terms of completing like my Hawaiian library, which is always really cool. I've been collecting since I was probably 8, maybe 11. My grandfather started everything for me, and he would always send me books, and he would write notes in them and make reference points on different parts of the islands, and family members who also were like born in that area, or the meaning of the different names. And so it was really, it is really amazing to still have all of these books that are decades old, with my grandfather's handwriting and all of his references to different parts of the islands still in them. So I am going to keep it on, and we're getting close. Let's do this. Here we go. So these were all lurking on the floor, and I realized that my biggest section of books that I've collected so far, I believe, is actually art. So that's kind of fun to see. And yeah, so we've got one more section to acquire books from, and that is the hall closet. And after that, it is time to finally organize the shelves. Obviously, the things that I probably not gonna reach for very much, but not really wanting to give them away either, I'm gonna put on the bottom. I did realize there are several books, including one from Anne Rice that does not fit in the way that I have these shelves oriented right now. So that is going to be a determining factor on what shelves these books are organized into. So didn't think of that, but I thought I did pretty good. It's just the one book that won't fit, so maybe it's not the only one. There's a whole nother section to go through, and that's what I'm gonna do now. This is it. I'm pretty sure it's it. I can't really find a whole lot more right now, but it's a lot of stuff to go through. So I'm going to probably set you down, do another time lapse, and start really organizing everything. Obviously focusing on the bottom first, because it's got to go heaviest stuff on the bottom. Even though I have quite a few anchors on this thing, I don't want any surprises in the middle of the night or to come home and the wall's halfway torn down. Well, we are finally at the moment you've been waiting for, the final reveal. I did this. I built all of this. And it was one of the most crazy experiences that I have to talk to you about. So this is the biggest project I think I've done in the house so far. And that's even bigger than me painting an entire house in 5 days before we moved in, like right after we bought it. So this project has just been, I would consider, like, it was a lot. When it comes to planning out the bookcases, I just went on IKEA. These are all the Billy bookcases, by the way. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but yeah, so I went on IKEA.com and I was able to enter all of my room dimensions and essentially like the space in which that I was able to build everything out in. I really like the planning tool they have there. It is super easy to kind of reconfigure things and as well as budget, which is really, really nice. So they give you a lot of options and you can customize what you need in however long it takes you to do so. So I really, really liked that. Honestly, I was really hesitant using Billy bookcases to begin with, but with the volume of online home decor and content creators that I follow, like, everyone uses them. Not many people build out their own bookcases. I did heavily consider it though, for the sake of I wanted something custom and I wanted something that was very price savvy and well within my budget. And what was the one part that really blew my budget was actually time. And that was the biggest deciding factor in getting these bookcases versus something more custom. And the time was how long it would take to go and get all of the raw materials from the lumber store, as well as cutting things down. I'd either have to have the lumber store cut them down for me as needed, or I would have to rent a saw and workhorses and stuff like that. And just I didn't have the time to do that, right? I have a full-time job outside of this and life and all that it entails, and I didn't have the time. The fact that IKEA's online planning tool was super easy to use. I was able to plan everything out probably within like 30 minutes. I kid you not. It was like no time at all. And then I had them ship it to me so that I didn't have to deal with renting a bigger vehicle, because my husband and I have smaller vehicles, and we know that based on the dimensions alone that the shelving would not fit in our vehicle. So I had all 11 boxes totaling almost 400 pounds delivered to me for 30 bucks. Like, for 30 bucks, I saved like 3 hours of time walking through IKEA. If you've never been to an IKEA, good for you. If you've been to an IKEA, especially on like a Friday night or a Saturday morning, you know. You totally know and you understand what it's like. And while we're on the subject of things that I did not expect, another huge thing I did not expect was how challenging it would be for me to put these goods together. The actual just base, like the 5 foot and under parts, or the base parts of the bookcases, was very easy. It was very self-explanatory, and it was not hard to follow the pictures, read some words, and that's it. But when it came to the extensions, it was awful. I had no idea what I was doing. The pictures for the extension was actually like the wrong kind of extension that was included. They gave me the wrong manual, I feel. And so I had to scour the internet, and it was just somebody who, again, like, did not have any like verbal words in any of their video. It was just some music in the background, and they just kind of like were pointing things like, you put this to this. Nobody said, hey, this is the top, this is the bottom, these are the 2 sides, this is the back, and this is how you affix it. Please, somebody make this video. I don't want to make it, but if you can make that, I'm pretty sure that you are going to have a lot of folks watch it, because I can't be the only one who has no idea how to put that stuff together. And now let's talk about the fun stuff. What can we do now with these? Well, I have started to display some of my awesome collectibles. I collect a lot of, I don't want to say like museum pieces, but I collect a lot of like odd stuff. And I've honestly just been having it in cabinets or stored in the garage and boxes and stuff like that. And I want to look at these really cool things. So I have all of these random objects and whatnot that I pick up places, estate sales, thrift stores, etc., etc. And now I have a really cool place to display them all, as well as, of course, my books. Yes. So it goes without saying that I am a huge fan of fantasy romance books, or romantasy if you want to call it, or you should call it, because that's the genre, the subgenre. I really enjoy high fantasy as well. In addition to that, though, I'm a huge fan of modern art books, as I mentioned earlier in this vlog, and I've never really had a full bookshelf like this to display them. I did purchase a bookshelf right after we moved into this home, and it was filled up immediately. It was too small, and it was quite bulky. You know, it was really cool and stylish, but it just wasn't functional and practical for like what I needed. So I quickly sold it with the idea of having some sort of shelving installed in this space to display everything and to kind of keep where all my books are. And lo and behold, it has now turned into this. So yeah, that's it, guys. I cannot tell you how happy I am with this this desk being oriented the way it is. I feel like I'm getting like House Slytherin vibes in here, and it's funny because I'm not a House Slytherin fan, but I guess I just really like cool old stuff, and I love how cozy this space feels. It makes me it brings me a lot of joy, which is what we all should be striving for, right?